It's the end of September, so it's time for another online nursery roundup, starting with one of the best online nursery websites, coniferkingdom.com. And there's something special here, Abies recurvata, otherwise known as Min fir, native to China, and I believe it's closely related to Momi fir. I did order one of these for myself, but it looks like there's one left now. So you're going to have to act fast if you want to try the Abies recurvata, but I think it would probably do fairly well in the southeastern United States, considering how closely related it is to Momi fir, which is Abies firma. Staying on the Conifer Kingdom website, they also have plenty of Picea koyamae in stock. Looks like, what is that, 52? This is the Budgeberry Blue cultivar, so bluer than the normal Koyama spruce. These are native to Japan, and I believe they're closely related to regular Norway spruce. I have one of these planted in my yard right now, and I've been very impressed by the color, and the growth rate is pretty decent as well. So if you're adding to your blue conifer collection and you don't have Koyama spruce, I think you should definitely consider one. Now, going back to a website that I discussed on my last online nursery roundup, this is directnativeplants.com, and I can't remember if they had this last time, but I noticed this time they have Carolina laurel, Prunus caroliniana, and this seems to be one of the best sources for it online right now. It's only $34, and I've had a lot of luck buying from this nursery, so if you want to have the Carolina cherry laurel at a reasonable price, this is going to be a good place to get it. Now on to a different website. This is camforest.com, and they have Momi fir here, Abies firma. But what's interesting is they have so many different sizes on offer. Looks like there's a 3-quart for only $30, but they also have a 6-quart and a 10-quart, and I believe the 10-quart is actually something like $70, which is still pretty reasonable, considering how hard it is to find Momi fir. So if you happen to be buying something on Camellia Forest nursery website and you want to add a Momi fir, just know they are there and they're fairly reasonable. But keep watching, because later in the video I do show another Momi fir at a different website that you might like even more. And here's another one on the Cam Forest website. This one is species Cartrema americana, and the common name is devilwood. It's a broadleaf evergreen native to the coastal and even inland regions of the southeastern US. It's also pretty cold hardy. I have 3 of these growing in my collection currently, and I'm planting one more, but I didn't buy one from here because I already had enough. But I think this might be currently the only place on the internet where you can buy devilwood tree. And by the way, I added that photo at the side so you could see what it looks like. It just so happens there is no photo on this particular entry at the Cam Forest website, so don't get confused when you go searching for it. But $30 is pretty reasonable for a very hard to find broadleaf evergreen. Now moving on to a website that you guys hear me talk about a lot, and that is wilsonbrothersgardens.com, one of the best online nurseries in my opinion. And it looks like they have 3-gallon Nordmann firs on offer. Now I don't think it says which rootstock it's on, so I'd assume it's on its own rootstock. Nordmann fir, Abies nordmanniana is the species, but this is a pretty large size, and I don't think that specialty conifer nurseries like Conifer Kingdom even have the straight species offered in such a large size, if at all. So pretty good opportunity to get a Nordmann fir of decent size if you want one. And since they're relatively slow growing, I guess it could make sense to buy a more expensive, larger one. Wilson Brothers is also offering an impressive selection of Momi firs. Abies firma. This would be the most heat-tolerant fir species you can possibly grow. So if you're growing in the southeast and you want to grow a fir tree, but you think you're too far south, you can probably grow Momi fir, unless maybe if you're on the Gulf Coast or down in Florida. But even in the deep south, I think you can grow this. The flavor text on this entry mentions southern Alabama, and I think that's probably right. So look around on the website. I think there are different sizes. This one is the 3-gallon, but they may have other sizes. And these would probably be the largest Momi firs for offer on the internet right now. Okay, we're still on Wilson Brothers, and this time we're showing the blue Spanish fir. This is Abies pinsapo, native to Spain, obviously, the mountains of southern Spain to be precise. I actually tried to grow one of these in Tennessee one time, and it ended up getting killed by some cold weather. So I think you would almost want to be further south than Tennessee if you're going to attempt this species that is adapted to a montane Mediterranean climate. Also, I'm not sure what rootstock is on. Maybe its own rootstock? If so, that's pretty impressive. But the size itself is impressive. I don't think you're going to find this large of a Spanish fir offered by any other online nursery. And on the subject of nurseries, I need to take this opportunity to point out that no one is paying me to show you guys these things. I don't get money from these online nurseries. I'm just sharing with you what I see online that is interesting to me and might be interesting to you. Let's check a couple more trees on Wilson Brothers, starting with the Lutinegri hybrid fir. This is a hybrid of Abies grandis from the Pacific Northwest and Abies concolor, which kind of grows in the Intermountain Rocky Mountain West region. I actually have one of these planted in Tennessee, and it's grown fairly well, although it was partially eaten by deer last winter, so watch out for that. But it's one of the best blue firs in my opinion, and it seems to be a vigorous grower, so it's probably worth the effort. This is amazingly a 3-gallon, so that's probably pretty large. So if you like blue firs, this is another good option. And now the last one from Wilson Brothers Gardens. This is a holly tree, the Yopon holly, native to the southeastern US. I have a couple of these growing in my collection, and this one is also the tree form like the ones I have, but this one's actually a named cultivar called Pride of Houston, which apparently has a lot of the red berries. So if you like the red berries of holly trees and you want a very heat tolerant, I guess maybe drought tolerant or even wet tolerant, pretty hardy holly tree with very small leaves, this is a good choice. I am training mine to be an actual tree, but you could probably keep it smaller like a small hedge. So if you'd like to add to your holly collection and have all the species, this is one of the only places on the internet where you can get a good Yopon holly right now. Now moving over to the woodlanders.net website, another great online nursery with some interesting things in their collection. This one is another holly tree, the inkberry holly. Ilex glabra is the Latin name. It's a very cold hardy, adaptable holly species. It has pretty small evergreen holly leaves, and I never really see much fruit or flowers on them, but it has pretty good leaves, pretty attractive foliage. So I have it for the sake of holly species diversity, and I'm planting it in the most challenging areas where I know there's armillaria root rot. So it's a very utilitarian tree for me, and so far I've had good luck with it. The last one is also on woodlanders.net, a very rare pine tree that you see me mention sometimes in my videos, and I always mention that it's hard to find it. This is spruce pine, Pinus glabra, native to the southeastern US, a relatively shade-tolerant pine tree with interesting bark texture when it gets older. I guess the description here even mentions it looks kind of like a hardwood tree. So I've had good luck with this one growing in partial shade locations. If you want to try a pine but you don't have full sun, this would be your best option. And it's a fairly attractive pine, and I really haven't had any troubles with it. So this is your chance. Here it is finally available online. I'm not sure how long it will be available, but if this is your only missing southeastern pine, there you go.